Welcome back to Afro Chess. I'm Zola, your host, as we unravel the beauty of African chess. Today we'll be looking at a game from the Marvins Open International, which took place here in Kenya at KICC. With the white pieces, I am Ssegwanyi Arthur versus the 13-year-old prodigy, Simiyu Jadon. We kick off with the Sicilian defense. You know it's going to be a roller coaster when you see that on the board. And we transpose into a Taimano variation. Queen to c7, looking at key dark squares. White opts for the fianchetto variation. All pieces developing normally, both sides respectfully castle. And here should we say the meta plan is usually grabbing the knight on c6, pushing e5, opening up the dark light squares for the bishop, and maybe trying to get a little bit of initiative with ideas like queen g4. In the game we got knight to d3, keeping more pieces in the position. d6 defends critical squares. a4 restricts black's counterplay. b6 intending to develop the light squared bishop, and white does in fact grab some more kingside space. Maybe in the future is gonna look for f5 or maybe even e5 strikes, but the e5 square is quite well defended. Centralizing the rook, and the knight looks for a reroute. Queen to f2 applies serious pressure on b6, but knight to c5 nicely covers that. Knight moves back to d4. Bishop f6 increasing the scope of the piece. And we see a sequence of trades, and e5 clarifies the position a little bit. It's important for black to grab some central space and like to try and slow down not the immediate f5 to lose a rook, and try and slow down maybe this avalanche. So we got knight to d5, a nice little in between move. Take my rook, I take your queen. No, this is not against the elo, we didn't see any of that. And f5, claiming more space on the king side, maybe looking for g4 in some weird ideas, or maybe a crude plan like f6 and queen e3, queen h6. It never really works because black's in time with moves like knight to d7 and grabbing this pawn. So we got b5, a nice little move looking for counterplay on the opposite side. We saw a trade, and white continues with the simple plan of applying maximal pressure on black's weak d6 pawn. Black is not helpless, he defends himself. And the b pawn starts making its journey of tickling white's queenside a little bit. The queen centralizes, and b3 is a very nice move. Now, taking this pawn is position as suicide as the knight would take back. Let's say you move your queen to d3. Black can give a check while defending his rook, and then knight to d4. And this is a very uncomfortable position for white. It is slightly better for black, in fact. Actually, if you somehow traded off all the heavy pieces and you're left with the minor pieces alone, white's probably dead lost, as this is an outpost for the knight and white's bishop can't really get rid of it. So we did not see such a grievous error in the game. The IM understands it's just. So c3 stopping all that advancement. Knight to b7, lies little backwards, knight move defending d6. The rook invades, rook to b5 counterattacks, knight to a5 defends, and white finally grabs the d6 pawn, but what? It's not even that good. What do you mean it's not even that good? He won a pawn. Well, that pawn was not, there was no rush in taking that pawn. Apparently queen to d5 is better. Of course, I have no right to judge. I'm sitting here with an engine seeing all the best moves, and the plan here would have been to try and get some kind of light squared attack going on after you rip them open. So in the game we got the more natural queen takes d6. I should mention black is down a significant amount of time. Unfortunately, the timestamps did not. I couldn't get the timestamps well. Rook to c4 attacks the knight, and the knight grabs the pawn. See a couple of pawns falling, and it's around equal despite white actually being up a pawn, because this b3 pawn is quite strong, and white's gonna struggle to like slow it down, and his extra pawn's not gonna really matter that much. See rook to d5, knight moves out, creating space for the pawn to move. We do see the pawn moving. e5 opens up a critical square for the bishop and also is looking for counterplay with his central pawns. Rook a1 threatens to promote, and as I just mentioned, the critical square is in fact used. The bishop and the rook team up to slow down that pawn. Rook to e1 tickling. White's currently trying to flag black, who's I think below 5 minutes at this point. Rook to e1, rook to e3, a simple defense. Whoa! And the evil bar nearly pooped its pants. What just happened there? Well, apparently the best was to move back the bishop. Then if the rook attacks again, you defend with the rook from the side, not from down here. Now let me just show you why evil pooped its pants like crazy. Because first you give a check. This check is critical, not for even attacking the king, but to defend the b2 pawn. Then you grab the c3 pawn. Rook's gotta move. And the final icing on the cake, rook takes d3. Now that is a nasty, nasty move. White's gotta take back pretty much, and the pawn promotes. And at the end of the sequence, black just nabbed the minor piece. Some of you are probably wondering, wouldn't that have happened the same in the other sequence I was talking about? Well, there's a slight difference. If you go for the same kind of ideas, let's say the rook moves to e1 attacking the bishop, and now you defend the bishop from the side, that whole idea doesn't work. You can give a check, king will move over to g1, and you're seeing similar ideas. The rook is defending the pawn from the side. But in this line, when you play knight takes c3, the rook is not only defending the bishop, but it can also take back the knight. That is the key difference. And now you see that whole line didn't work because the rook could take the knight. That was the key difference between defending the bishop from the side and from the back. Very tiny little nuances. Back to the game. So black managed to steal a minor piece. King to e3, we're seeing very nice technique, forcing the rooks off the board, reducing white's drawing chances. f6, not allowing white's pawns to get too advanced. The king steps up, g5, and all white has to do here is to preserve at least one pawn, and should be able to win. And he successfully does that, as this white's not gonna manage to get rid of this pawn or trade it off, and this knight is gonna make a journey to the king's side, eat all the pawns, and the f is gonna run. Wow, what a game. Very nice squeeze from Simiyu to beat Mr. Ssegwanyi. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any other interesting games you'd like me to cover, drop it in the comment section. Peace out.